Hello, everyone. I'm Mandi Rae of OPA Astrology, the Organization for Professional Astrology. And this is Frank Clifford with me today. How are you?
Hi there, Mandy. Good to see you.
Very good to see you too. And today we are going to be talking a little bit about astrology and business. And I was going to say that I think people don't really like to talk about it as a business sometimes, astrology is just astrology. But once you get deep enough into it, you do need to eventually get paid for all the time you're spending and also not eating and drinking sometimes when you're diving into astrology. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about your thoughts on astrology and business.
Well, as you say, it's important to think of yourself as offering a service, and it doesn't have to be a free service. I mean, we put a lot of time, money. I think about the books that every astrologer has. Just look behind me, we have usually we spent a lot of money on courses, books, and I'm not saying you have to get your investment back, but I'm just saying that people respect things they pay for. And uh, I always say, whenever I put up my prices as a consultant astrologer, I worked harder. I was vigilant about giving people their money's worth. But that's just me. But I think it's really important generally to consider yourself as offering a valuable service. And I
Mm,
think one of the things that people get worried about is, am I charging too much? What should I do? I've only been maybe learning a few years, and it's something we're going to be discussing in my double session. But the thing is, people spend as much on a cigarette habit in just a few days, for instance, or they'll go on holiday and spend 10 times that amount that they might spend on an astrologer. And I think the we need to remind ourselves that what we can do when we do it well, when we do it ethically, when we have good training, we can offer a service that is life-changing for people. It can reopen the door for somebody. It can redirect them. It can introduce them to aspects that they've buried or not considered about who they are, what they want to be. So our service, I often think that our service leapfrogs the psychological business sometimes in terms of years. What you get in a session, it might take years to come out in a psychological session, for instance, psychotherapy session. So what we do is very, very valuable, and I think it's important that we respect that and um, have a business that encourages people to respect what we do too.
at something called the AstroBiz Summit coming up for OPA Astrology. 9 steps to successful consulting as an astrologer.
That's right, yes. And nine, I do that because I run a school in China and they love eight or nine. I'm always thinking about that astrologically, numerologically. So I'll have to put my thinking cap on and get those nine absolutely razor sharp for the weekend. But they are things like, how do you develop a dialogue with the client? How do you begin a consultation? How do you end one? So, and also things like how do you prepare? When we begin as astrologers, we over prepare. And then we realize that the client is there for maybe 60 minutes, 90 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And they've got things they want to talk about. And we need to leave enough room for them to be able to uh, discuss what they need rather than us uh, pin them down and say, you've got to listen to the following because I've studied it and I've worked on it. So it has to be a dialogue. And I think that's the important message, probably out throughout the weekend in many different ways.
It's important to look for other revenue streams because it's hard to do a ton of one-on-one consulting all week long. It's very energetically draining. And so I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I'm suspicious of people that tell me they and go to a conference and on their days off, they see seven clients in a row. I mean, I would be brain dead after the first three, maybe. I think in my earlier years, I've been in astrology now 35 years and practicing for about 30 of them. And I think that uh, doing doing four was a huge amount in my 20s, in my 30s. Um, until recently, I often did three, and it would be a day of consultations and I would maybe scatter them during the month. and do other work as well. I'm not a full-time consultant, so that wouldn't be a 9 to 5 situation for me. But it nowadays I'm thinking about too, and I think people, uh, astrologer and client, both astrologer and client suffer if you're doing too many, if you're run down. And one of the other things I always say, and I'll probably say it over the weekend, is that if you are doing it uh, without being paid in your personal life, like you're everybody's go-to and you're the agony aunt, you're helping everybody else, there's going to be resistance to wanting to do it as an astrologer out there in the world. And that resistance may be about just simple energy. So I often say to people, if you're really good at it and you want to do it, if you want to see clients, and a lot of astrologers don't want to do that, it's not their forte. But if you want to see them, then almost shut down on the unpaid client work you do with friends and family a little bit, or have a very good barrier with that, and then go in with a full tank of energy. Otherwise, it'll end up just merging, and your clients will end up being friends who ring you at 10 at night, and your friends will be clients that expect freebies, and it just gets a little bit murky. It gets a little bit too Neptunian for my liking. So that's one of the things I'd say is that uh, go steadily at the beginning. Astrologers don't have clients overnight. It takes time to build a practice. But at the same time, when they do come, ensure that you're giving them the very best rather than filling in slots and thinking about money, or looking at your clock or watch, waiting for the session to end. These are all bad signs that you may not be giving your very best as an astrologer.
Oh, yeah, that is so true. I find myself, identifying with a lot of that. I can say that. I think if you've done it for a certain amount of years, you end up looking back and go, wow, I can't believe I, had the energy, or let it be that way, because boundaries are very important with clients. And I'm sure that's part of your talk as well.
Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all these tips and tricks that you're telling us about. I think I will open the floor if you have anything else you want to share.
Let me think. Well, it's a double session, so I'll get my uh, cap on. The first time that I did it last year for my own school, the London School of Astrology, we did it over 2 days, and I also added extra things like the consultation chart, which is an amazing tool where you look at the chart at the moment and help the client through that way. So, but this is going to be streamlined on the essentials, uh, as you know, from the start, the beginning, what you discuss, privacy, confidentiality, all the different uh, key concepts that we need to consider. And as always, some of the people who sign up may have very different views, have different experiences on that, and I'm just giving you mine. So it'll be a great interactive session.
Again, this is the AstroBiz Summit that happens April 25th through 27th. OPAastrology.org has all of the information, has the registration area. And Frank, what is your website if people want to find you?
Right. Best one is londonschoolafastrology.com. That takes you to my courses. We do a lot of freebies. There's a free account you can have. And we do a lot of fundraising as well. So I'm very proud of, we've raised, I think, over $100,000 now for different charities, uh, and doing a lot of different fundraising events in the last 5 years.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful work. And so I appreciate you coming and talking with me today. And viewers out there, please like, share, subscribe, all of that, and visit opaastrology.org. I'm Mandi Rae. We'll see you soon.